Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. This is going to be a general message for Capricorn in April 2020. Hello, Capricorn. How are you guys doing? I hope that you are doing well. I wonder how many times I've said that by now. Hundreds. Anyway, Capricorn, how's everything in your life? Considering the time in which we are living in human history, it might be a little challenging. COVID-19, coronavirus, has swept the world in a pandemic, and many of us are living in quarantine, self-distancing, social distancing, and having to really rewrite our lives and alter things. And I know that can be very difficult, on top of just the idea that a virus is really affecting people's health. A lot of people are coming down with it, possibly dying from it. So if you and yours are affected in any shape or form, please know that I'm thinking of you and sending you the best positive, uplifting vibes that I can, because that's really the most I can do at this point. You know, we don't know each other personally, and that's all I can really do for you. And hopefully it has some type of effect, okay? Now, let's see what's going on with your tarot, my friends. I have shuffled off camera. That's your main spread there. I'm going to shuffle on camera now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all the cards are out and they're lying face up on the table, that's when the reading begins. Timestamp is already in the description box if you want to jump ahead. Also down there is the information you need if you want to get a personal reading with me. If you have a question before you place an order, feel free to email me at the same address. I will answer you as soon as I can. And a new feature of our intro, some of you may have noticed at the opening of the video, I am now on Instagram. Woohoo! Question mark maybe. I don't know. Anyway, if you're interested in following me over there, I'm going to pop up a graphic right here. It is EmpathicFire Tarot on Instagram. And what I'm doing over there, I'm pulling daily oracle cards, or just about daily oracle cards, giving messages and interpretations and intuitive interpretations of what the card has in store for the collective. So if you're interested in, getting extra guidance from me or extra input from me, you can feel free to drop me a follow over there, okay? All right, let's go, Capricorn. Let's see your outcome for April 2020. Capricorn's outcome for April 2020. Please show me. Of course, this is interesting. A little similarity here. I'll explain in a second. Oh, that's a flip. It's not an outcome because that's 3 cards, or is it 2? Oh, it's 2. Do we take the 2? Because sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Take the 2. They say take the 2. Okay. So now we got to readjust the table. Give me a second, please. Maybe next time I'll do the Jeopardy theme. Oh my God, this is also similar. What is going on? Okay, listen. So what happened was, when I was just talking to myself, and I was like, this is interesting. It feels the same. Sagittarius, I just did their video like 10 minutes ago. And all of their cards came face up. That was their overall energy. Just, if you know a Sagittarius, maybe they'll pop up in your reading. I don't really see it, but it's possible. You might want to see if there's an overlap between the two of you, because that happens with my reading sometimes. When things are stylistically, visually similar, there might be a connection between the two zodiacs or the two people that I'm reading for, right? Anyway, let's get into it. Sagittarius, that's your outcome. Overall energy is at the bottom of the deck. Let's find out where you are inside of the main reading, okay? Please show me where Capricorn is in April 2020. Where is Capricorn in April 2020? Please show me. All right. Came through pretty strong. Let's go. Capricorn, coming into April, you come in with the energy of the 4 of Cups. Or excuse me, 4 Cups. 5 of Cups. My bad. 5 of Cups. All right, friends. What have you lost? What are you upset about? What is plaguing you? Interesting word, plaguing you. And okay, that's kind of on the nose with everything going on. Anyway, but that's the word they wanted me to use, so we're going to go with it. What's plaguing you? What is haunting you? What is you're not able to let it go. You're not able to turn your eyes away from this thing. It's a situation, it's a person, it's a feeling, it's a loss. It's this sense of unknowing. What does that mean? Unknowing yourself, losing yourself. Thank you. Is how I'm supposed to say that. Losing yourself, or losing an aspect of yourself, losing an aspect of your life, or a particularly important facet of your personality. This is really a strong wallowing energy, a strong energy of feeling lost, adrift, unsure, unhinged is what they're saying for some. There's a lot, man, it's a lot. Look at this man, he's in like the position to be doing a prayer. So some of you, this is like a, listen, don't be this, I shouldn't say don't be this person, but I'm simultaneously feeling this energy of all is lost, okay? But I'm also simultaneously feeling this energy, and it's possibly coming from your guides, the people that are looking after you, or whatever you believe in, okay? Could just be friends in your vicinity, in your life, who are literally saying, don't be like this, which is possibly hitting some of your ears, Capricorn, as being harsh. You don't oh my God, look at this. You don't understand. How could you say that to me? This is harder than what it looks like. Something like that. And someone is just like, pull yourself together. Stop this. So either that's coming from a person in your actual physical life that you know, that you talk to, that you have a relationship with, or this is coming from the other side, okay? Some of you have a very vibrant spiritual team or spiritual awareness that you might be ignoring at this time. Because again, with this position of prayer, some of you are calling on your gods, calling on your angels, calling on your personal guides, your ancestral guides, whatever. And you're asking for help. And the help is listen up, buttercup, straighten up, get yourself together. It's very tough love. I'm not saying these things as a person. You don't know me. I don't know you. I'm saying these things as a channel, as an empathic channel for you. This is coming through. Get it together. Stop this. Because it feels, yes, this has gone on way too long. And that is a dicey, concept, because there is grief here. There's loss here. There is pain here. There is suffering here. And how can we, as outsiders, put a time limit and expectation on another person's grief? That's where I think I'm really tapping in for some of you to people on the other side, guides or angels or whatever you believe in or don't believe in on the other side. Your spiritual team, your spiritual backup, okay? These are my backup singers. The heavenly angels, whatever you think in or believe in or don't believe in, and I feel that that's where I'm speaking from more so than the people in your life, because we can always ignore people in our physical lives telling us what to do because they're just like us. You're living a human experience just like me. You don't have any authority, or you don't have any wise counsel. I mean, that could be you, that could be anybody really, but I'm feeling that someone is in the know, or someone is very impassioned that the wallowing is enough. Because to a certain extent, Capricorn, it feels like you could put yourself into this energy, or you easily fall back into this energy, and that has to stop. Not that you have to stop. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, thank you. Whatever has lost, the 3 cups in the foreground of the card, spilled over, contents all on the grass, it's over. Whatever was in there, you can't get it back. It's soaking into the soil beneath the grass. It's gone, right? The 2 cups behind, there is recourse. There is some type of salvation. There is some type of betterment or different opportunity, other connections, other people, other mindsets, other actions that you can take. There is something about the position of this man and the cups that is volunteering, or maybe not volunteering. Yeah, I guess volunteering, choosing to be there. If he were to stand up, turn around, or just, look over his shoulder, he might be able to peep. Oh my God, I got 2 cups right there. I have something in my vicinity, in my proximity, something or someone around me that isn't lost, that isn't gone, right? So we could be talking about so many things. The point of the cups is to talk about things that we have emotional attachment to, things that make us happy, things that bring us joy, things that bring us contentment, right? Could be people, could be places, could be things, right? It's going to be different for all of you. But I get this sense of this is, again, this has gone on long enough. And at some point you have to choose, Capricorn, again, to put yourself in a different position, to get up off of your knees, stop wallowing or stop feeling like you'll never have whatever you had before. In some cases, maybe it's true. Like if this is, for some of you, possibly the loss of a relationship, a loss of a person, whether that be, through them passing away or a breakup or, never, seeing your father again after your 18th birthday. He skipped town and you never heard from him again, but you see him on Facebook and he's living his best life with his new family, right? That might never, that 18-year-old self Capricorn won't get that back again. Those 10, 20, 30, 50 years that well, 50 is a lot, but you know what I mean? All that time that you've been away from that relationship with the person who stepped out of your life and has gone on and done other things for the benefit, it doesn't matter the quality of what they're doing, right? It doesn't matter. But being stuck at that 18-year-old self, that younger version of yourself that was looking forward to so much more in that connection. Like somebody is like in a bubble, in a time warp, in memory of what was back then, and reluctant, resistant, unaware of the present. That's very, so much is in there. So much is in there, my friends. And it's different for all of you. It's a general. I'm speaking to Capricorn. If the shoe's on the other foot and you know it, please acknowledge or please own that. I'm not here to cater to, hundreds or possibly thousands of people. You know your story. Fill yourself in where you need to be. But the fives represent challenges, okay? Fives in tarot and numerology in general tend to lean towards change, transformation, challenges, possible chaos and uprooting in your life. But they are not end-all be-all moments. We proceed, we carry on. We move from the 5 to the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then we jump back down to the 1s, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And life is in cycles, right? So there is this resistance, reluctance, detachment from moving on in the cycle, moving on in the path, moving on in the flow chart. It's like reading a book that has literally 10 chapters in it, and you stop at chapter 5. Did you read that book? I got to chapter 5. Are you going to finish that book? I got to chapter 5. Are you going to, come on. The progression of something, you are stalled out. They're telling me, I'm talking very strongly through whoever's looking out for you, people in this world or people in some other world, plane of existence, dimension, what have you, okay? You are stalled out. And you need to not stall yourself. It's yourself. Yes. Uh-huh. 9 of Wands. Above that 5 of Cups. This is you hanging on. And you're like, well, that's a 9, so that's progression. Listen, that's why I don't tend to put numbers too much in my readings, because I think some people might take it a little literally, okay? But this 9 points to wrapping it up. If this was like, to give you a visual, this is the packing of the bags before you take a long voyage, before you board a plane, before you head out on a journey. This is the packing of the bags phase. This is putting all your toiletries in the little toiletries bag, making sure you have the socks and the shoes you want to wear, making sure you got your passport. This is what that is, because you're about to go somewhere else. You're about to take a journey elsewhere, right? But more to the artwork of this card. You have the wounded warrior here. You've got this guy, another man on his knees, okay? And no offense, no gender here. Maybe you're a man on his knees. That's like super specific. And Look, I don't know who that's for. Some of you are being brought to your knees, male or female. Many of you have been brought to your knees in a painful way. Regardless, Five of Cups on the knees. Nine of Wands, down on one knee, leaning on this one wand, weakened, hurt, exhausted, have been through the wars. You may literally have served in a war. You may have more metaphorically served in a war of the roses, kind of. I love that. I mean, War of the Roses is, I think, actually based on historical events, but War of the Roses is a great film, I think in the 80s, with Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas. Check it out, since we're all on quarantine. Go ahead and look that one up if you can, if you've never seen it. But anyway, so it's, and okay, thank you for some, okay, I see. My guides are great. They're great. So War of the Roses, the film, and War of the Roses, I believe, historically, is about family fighting with people you know in a domestic sense, right? In that movie, Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner, they're married, and then they proceed to get divorced. But they're having a long, yes! I'm not excited if you're going through a divorce. I mean, unless you want me to be, then yay, good for you, Capricorn. This is a slow devolving or the slow loss of something. Because in that movie, they are in a deadlock over the divorce. And they're fighting over any and everything. They're fighting over who gets this piece of art, who gets custody. They might have been fighting over the custody of the kids. I can't remember. But whatever. They're fighting over objects. They're fighting over money. They're being nasty to each other. They're at each other's throats, literally in that movie, and possibly literally in your life. I don't know you. That could be true. And so the movie, which is what, about an hour and a half, 2 hours, it spans years. Years these people have spent trying to divorce each other. That's the Nine of Wands. That's what? Oh, my computer's doing something weird. There it goes. Okay. Hopefully that didn't screw up. But years, right? So the Nine of Wands, hanging in there, clutching to, fighting a good fight. The old college try 9 times over, right? Five of Cups, mourning a loss, feeling possibly stuck and wallowing in painful emotions, right? If you are literally going through a divorce or some type of breakup, it's either been a long time coming or it hasn't truly finished yet. Some of you are holding on, or the other person is holding on, and there's this lack of letting go and getting on with the next phase. Move on from chapter 5, get into chapter 6. Move from chapter 2 to chapter 3, chapter 7 to chapter 8, whatever point in the story you're at. But the fact that someone, you or them, is trying to maintain the status quo, possibly through a sense of duty and obligation, because again, this is the wounded warrior. What are warriors? Soldiers, right? People that are contracted, people that are sworn to oath to defending to the last breath. And God help you or me or anybody who is in a, look, don't take that literally, but some people might be thinking in those terms. Till my last breath, I'm going to fight for this. Till my last breath, I'm always going to love you. Okay. That's like sweet and sentimental to a point. I feel that someone might be taking that beyond the sentiment, beyond the romanticism of till my last breath. Someone may be a little bit obsessive or possessive because they've been hurt. Oh my God. Capricorn, you often have very volatile readings for me. I'm noticing. I'm gonna do that. Thank you. They're like, you're gonna do that. That's a sidebar for me. That's about my personal journey. Anyway, as a reader, nothing personal. Anyway, some of you are yourselves, or you're dealing with someone who has this mentality. to the end, to the very end. This is how I'll be. And the sentiment, whether we're talking about a marriage situation, whether we're talking about a friendship, talking about family relationships, talking about a business entanglement, whatever, someone doesn't let this go, and they should let it go, because there's some kind of recourse with those Two of Cups behind this man. There's something else that is possible. Why focus on the damn thing that you've lost? Let it go. Insert frozen meme here. Okay? Now, that's a bunch of things, because I'm getting the sense for, why is that all blurry? What happened? Oh, did I like screw it up? I probably screwed it up. Oh, that's made it worse. No! How do I fix this? Because normally, okay, actually, I'm not going to do that because I didn't show you that one yet. That would be, okay, there it goes. It's fine. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. Anyway, some of you, listen, there's, the Nine of Wands is very, for me, a conflicting card, because sometimes it's noble, sometimes it's very honorable to be that person, to give up, to give a good fight, to give it your all. Sometimes it's wonderful to be that person. Show some type of integrity, show some type of spirit. But other times the Nine of Wands is foolish and gives of the self, gives towards a situation, gives towards a person that no longer deserves, requires, or is even willing to accept. You know, sometimes the war is over, but this person remains standing in their uniform. War's over, my friend. Go home. Become a civilian again. Become whatever again. What were you doing before you stepped on this battlefield? Who were you before you got involved with this person? Married this person? Dated this person? Did business with this person? Who were you? See? Look. And that's kind of a double-edged sword, but possibly is signaling to something. That's kind of in line with everything I've sort of been getting about this pandemic that we're in. Recall when I was talking about the Five of Cups, and hopefully we can wrap this up quickly. When I was talking about the Five of Cups, how some people are mourning the loss of a person who's not dead, but you lost them at a particular point in your life, when you were 18, when you were 16, when you were 22, whatever, when you were 46, who knows? You know, a husband walked out on you, a wife walked out on you, your parents walked out on you, you lost contact with one of your greatest mentors ever, you guys had whatever reason you lost this person, but they still exist. And what did I just say? Who were you before that moment? Before the war, before the loss, before the point where I feel some of you have a crystallized energy. So maybe when your mom or your dad walked out of your life, let's say you were 26, right? And that's kind of a strange age, but maybe at that point they got divorced from their own marriage and then you lost contact with one of them, right? Let's say that happened. Who were you before? Were you happy? Were you interested in certain hobbies? Were you open to certain experiences? Right? So not like, God, this is kind of a dangerous scenario, but who would you be without that person? It's like you kind of maybe not. You kind of have to stitch together a point in your timeline before the actual loss, before things went south between you and that person, in whatever form or fashion it was, right? So you got to trim it a little bit, not at the point of the loss, the point of the tension, the point of the grief, right? Just before. Snip, snip, snip. That's your first cut. Then you got to get up to where you are now and snip it there and cut out the middle and put these two together. You were happier at some point, possibly. You had more interests. You were more focused on your career. You were more focused on possibly a passion of yours, because wines, maybe you're passionate about wine. Maybe you wanted to like work at a winery or work at a brewery or something like that. Maybe you were more social. But the wands, not the wines, the wands speak to passion. So maybe you had so much more interest in things before this particular moment of grief, right? You got to reach back, possibly reread chapter 4 or 3 before you can get to chapter 6. Does that make sense? Or maybe that will help you move towards or be more comfortable with moving on to the next phase. Because again, a lot of you are just in that 5 of Cups and you're not really doing anything. You're not going anywhere. Ay, Dios mío. Capricorn, you always have these type of readings. Why? I'm laughing at myself. I should have done, or I still could, do some like voiceover work. I'm great at making up voices. Anyway, so what else happens, please? Okay, so yes. So behind, or somehow influential on that 9 of Wands, you've got the 10 of Cups. Happy family, happy life, right? These 2 maidens in a meadow. It looks like a serene scene. It looks very peaceful. It looks very auspicious and happy. You've got those honeybees there. So in some ways it talks about fertility or abundance, like well-fed crops. Like there is plenty of food, plenty of love, plenty of creativity and music and dance and all that kind of stuff. This is like the epitome of happiness, the epitome of joy for everybody involved. And I feel that this is not current. This is from the past. This is what it used to be for you, for them, for both of you. This is what you're able to see. And again, I'm going to keep referencing that movie, The War of the Roses. I feel like it does time jumps in it. I haven't seen it in so many years, but I think this is what it was. There are time jumps in it, and you see the current state of the married couple, and they're hating each other. They're at each other's throats and whatnot, right? And then I think we jump back to the past of when they were so in love and when they were so like each other's best friends, and they, made passionate love, and they congratulated each other, and they bought things together thinking of their future. And then it jumps back to the present and they hate each other and all that kind of stuff, right? So this is similar energy. I feel as though this is something where you or the other person or the pair of you, whoever this is, reminisces over this, what used to be. In the traditional tarot, you will see 2 adults, presumably a man and a woman, and their presumed children, in a similar scene in the meadow with like cups in a rainbow above their heads. So again, happy family, happy life, or more to the cliche, happy wife, happy life, right? So I get the sense that a family dynamic, for some of you, not all, was very important. Whether you had children or not, whether you were actually married or not, it doesn't matter. Or whether it was not about a marriage and it was just like the house that you grew up in, the childhood home in which you were raised, right? And it's like possibly that was a facade for some of you, or it, faded over the years. I mean, clearly, because the present moment is not this. Okay, so in some form or fashion, this faded, or it was a facade. It was keeping up with the Joneses. Okay, the Joneses, they take holiday photos and they send out Christmas cards. That's what we're going to do. Let's do it. Okay, that's not true. We don't wear matching sweaters and smile any other day, but here you go. Here's the Christmas card from Capricorn's family to yours. Okay, sure. For some, that was false. But possibly there was this attachment to the possibilities, to what it could have been. This is for a few of you. Not everybody had a facade. Some people did. It was not true. Yes, it was not true for some of you. It wasn't true from the beginning. But to keep up with appearances, to, 10 of Cups is less about this, but they gave me hints of generational family. So to live up to the expectations of generations prior, grandparents, whatnot. It's a tradition to marry this type of person if we're talking about like religious things, right? We only, if you're an Orthodox Jew, you can only marry another Orthodox Jew. That's their whole thing, right? And that can trickle over into other things. We don't marry outside of our race. We don't marry outside of our culture. We don't, you could be a proud Southerner, and this is no shade, no tea, proud Southerner, and then you fell in love with a dude from Massachusetts, and your family looked at you like you had 8 heads. You gonna do what now? He's from where? Oh, honey, no. We just, no. Well, nobody's ever dated anybody from, again, I should be in voice work. And I'm giving levity to myself because this is not a reading full of joy. This is not a reading full of happy times. Not in the present, okay? In the past, maybe you had a semblance of it for those who it was more of a facade. Others of you did have it, but it faded over the years. Because again, some of you may have gotten into relationships or made choices that were more aligned with other people around you, your family, your friends, people that influenced you, people that you wanted to make happy, people that you didn't want to disappoint, people that you wanted to be proud of you, right? And so in order to keep them happy, in order to see them smile, you went ahead and married the local barber down there in Georgia or wherever. No offense to anybody, by the way, right? Even though your heart was always with that guy that you met on the train who was traveling through from Massachusetts. I can't do a Boston accent, so let's change it to New York. Yeah, I'm from New York. And you're like, oh, could you say that? You're from where? Oh, yeah, I'm from New York. Whatever. And oh, this is a deja vu. Yes, yep. Wow, cool. There might be a dog barking soon. There might be a knock at my door. I think I've been here before. I have deja vu sometimes. You probably do too. Anyway, so at some point, this was happening, and now it's not happening. The dismantling of the Ten of Cups was long-standing long-standing fights, long-standing arguments, long-standing, perpetuated, habitual fighting. I'll show you this card upright so you can get better used to the artwork, but that's what it looks like. Fighting, squabbles, people pitted against each other. Everybody has something to say, or in this case, a wand to swing around and club someone over the head with, right? And God forbid if you were living in those circumstances, but I like to keep it real when I do tarot. I know that physical violence is a reality for so many people out there. And, there's a lot of stigma around it. People that I find, and maybe, they're just not the tarot readers for it, but I rarely see people talk about physical violence. We often will talk about narcissism and emotional manipulation or verbal abuse, but like fisticuffs, hands-on, a lot of readers either don't mention it or it doesn't come up for them. It comes up for me a lot, and I'm not going to shy away from saying it. So for some of you, this was about physical abuse in a home, family home, your marital home, between you and your brothers and your sisters, between you and your partner. What was that? Oh, I know what that was. Okay. Anyway, and that was habitual, like I said. With this Five of Wands in reverse, sometimes it can be a negation. It can be, the opposite of what it is when it's in the upright. But in this case, I see, like clockwork, you or whoever you were involved with, like on a schedule. We're going to have a fight tonight. It's a Thursday. It's 9 o'clock. Here it comes. Fight, 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 fight. Up until 11 o'clock, 12 a.m., still fighting. That's a Thursday in this house. And then you go to bed and you wait for the next Thursday. Something like that. You could set your watch to this shit. If it wasn't habitual, if it wasn't on a schedule, if it wasn't something that repeated itself, right? It then evolved very quickly. Like what was, and that I don't remember why, and I might have to go watch this movie. I might have to go like dig it up or try and find it online somewhere. But I feel like in that movie, The War of the Roses, again, sort of in the word or in the wordplay of it, War of the Roses. It's a flower. Flowers are pleasant, but roses have thorns, right? So it's like something that looks pleasant, something that is meant to be beautiful, has something that can harm you. So some of you, it developed quickly. That happens a lot. Story of many people's lives, males and females alike, adults and children alike. You are believing you've married or you've partnered with someone who's incredible. 5 years into the relationship, 7 years later, you wake up, someone cocks you in the eye with a balled up fist. Good morning, sweetheart. Boom. What? Like, that's what I mean. Like, out of nowhere, this person, in some of your cases, became someone you didn't know. And they may have physically abused you, verbally, mentally, emotionally abused you, pulled out all the narcissist 101, gaslight, narcissist 101, blaming you, narcissist 101, love bomb you to get you back in their good graces and then totally shit on you the moment you let down your walls and trust them again. And it may have happened overnight. You had no idea it was coming, but it came, it happened, and boom. You get locked into a cycle of it, or in some cases it happened once and then that was the end of it. That also happens. A lot of people get into relationships where the person is the bee's knees, bees on the card, right? Bees on the 10 of cups there, right? This person is the bee's knees. They're the cat's pajamas. They're any other dated way of saying they're amazing, right? And then they change. And they change in a way that scares you. They change in a way that harms you. They change in a way that threatens your life, threatens your livelihood, threatens your safety. And you bolt, you go, you escape. Some of you have. But then you still mourn. And that is also a trip. Because the majority of the time you knew them, they were great. They were loving. They were attentive. They were affectionate. They were supportive. They were brilliant. They were sexy. They were all the things. And then one time, they hauled off and did something incredibly egregious to you, and that was the end of the relationship. And some of you are stuck in a loop. That one incident, does that cancel out all of the good qualities of them? Are they possibly still a good person? And it's just like this thing that gets in your head. Some of you, not all of you. Was I overreacting? I would say no, especially if it's about physical violence. Hell no. I've learned that, well, not personally, no, but, it's just no. There's something that is telling me, again, your guides, stop thinking that way. Because you put yourself in an echo chamber when you do that. If this person who you were with, dating, married to, business with, and they swindled you, you have no pentacles here, but just to play the odds and to talk to people who aren't necessarily having a family or romantic entanglement issue, you may have been in business with someone, and out of nowhere, you see that they were cooking the books. Out of nowhere, you see that they were swindling you and stealing like more than half of the profits from your business, right? And then they run off, escape to South America, off the face of the earth. And you're like, we were in business for 10 years. We were in business for so long. He or she was so amazing. Ah, man, I had such good success with that person. Did you really? They were stealing from you the entire time. You didn't have as much profit as you could have had. They lied to you when they said XYZ about, hey, I see that this account was, oh, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. Yeah. Don't worry about it, Capricorn. Don't look over here. And you're soothed, right? This person manipulated you. Stop thinking that they were good. They weren't. Like, I'm being told by whoever's on your team, in this world or out of it, they were not good. Let them go. Learn the lesson you're meant to learn from this person and let them go. See? Harsh truths. Harsh truths. Ace of Swords. Not always a harsh truth, by the way, Ace of Swords. Sometimes the Ace of Swords is a very pleasant truth or a very relieving truth. Like, oh, I'm relieved to hear that. Oh my God, I was worried. Sometimes we welcome this. This is less welcomed, I feel, from you. Or it's painful. Let's just say it that way. It's painful in some type of way. It's uncomfortable to realize, any of us would feel this way. It's not a Capricorn thing. This is a human thing. I was duped. I trusted. I loved. And then I got burned. Then I got hurt. Then I was heartbroken. Then I got, my ribs cracked. I went bankrupt dealing with this person. See, War of the Roses. I feel that happens in there. I feel like one of them towards the other like drains their accounts, like leaves them penniless or goes after their money, their own personal assets. Playing dirty. Watch that movie. For those who have not watched it, even if this is not about a marriage, this could just be about that movie. Again, I think like the tone of it is what is blissful today in 2 years from now could be the worst relationship you're in. There's no way of telling. People change, circumstances change, or because of circumstances changing, people change. That could also be it. You know, this person, like I said, with the Five of Wands, could have been overnight, could have been in a reaction to something that happened to them personally. That happens a lot. This person loses their job, they take it out on you. This person loses a very significant person in their life through death, and then they become cold and sullen and very depressed all the time, which then doesn't allow them to have a loving relationship with you. That's not abuse. That's not to say that they are the worst person in the world, but it's to say that they are not able to emotionally cope in the way that you thought that they would, or in the way that you might have wanted to help them. All of this is coming out, or at least potentially it could come out. You may come to this realization on your own, because that's the other thing about the Ace of Swords. It can be personal epiphanies. It can be aha moments. If not, it's a discussion. If not, this is a conversation. You might need to have it with yourself. You might need to have it with a close friend. You might need to have it with a therapist. This could be the conversation. Hi there. I'm Jay. I just read tarot on the internet. Capricorn, you really ought to take better care of yourself. You really ought to have a better perspective of whatever the situation is. Boom. Conversation over. I mean, I'm being facetious, but I hope you get what I'm saying. Whatever this is, the Ace of Swords acts in or cuts through very clearly, brings clarity, brings truth, brings in a perspective or a takeaway that we might not have ever been able to see, a point of view we might not have been ever been able to see. Or this could be you finally being honest with yourself. Being honest with what you're feeling right now, what you felt back then, and how to reconcile all of it. This over here is a lot. If this was literally, and I'm semi being facetious, but it's actually true. This is a gold mine for a therapist. Okay? This is a gold mine over here. Somebody in grief who doesn't let go, somebody in grief who doesn't let go, who has history, and has a sort of a nostalgic look back on the past and this adherence to happier times, or a deep affect rooted in happier times, and some possibly abusive or volatile energy that was on a cycle, that was on a loop, or that came in a burst and has since look at that. Look what I just did. Happened in a flash. I knocked my hand and then I hit these cards and they went askew. I didn't predict that happening. I don't ever expect to knock my cards around on the table, but I just did it. And now I have to go and fix it. Now I have to fix the thing that screwed it up. Me, the individual, has to do it. You, the individual, has to do it. Your reading is so much, however, so simple for me as a reader. And as you know, and I don't know what's going on for you, Capricorn, astrologically. I really don't. You know, no offense. I don't really know that many Capricorns, so I don't really study your stuff that much. I really study or have more interest in, you know, the people that I know. And I really don't know any other. I only know like one Capricorn, like that I've seen in the past 2 years. But anyway, I don't know what's going on with you astrologically. But that might be influencing this, because I tend to get challenging, difficult, very, very, what's this? What's this? I think I meant, yes, I did. There's like they're giving me the sensation of an earthquake again, this rumbling under the surface. That's what an earthquake is, right? It's things, tectonic plates, right? Under the earth, they go boop, and then we hear rumble, rumble, rumble. It all comes up to the surface, right? So little shifts under the rock or under the earth's surface cause huge upheavals on the surface, right? I think that's principally what happens with earthquakes. That's what I feel you have been dealing with. I've only been doing tarot for This starts the third year. April starts the third year. But I feel Capricorn, if you look at your playlist, and don't quote me, but it's just what I think I remember, you guys often have challenging readings. Which to me equals you have a challenging life, or a challenging path right now, or a challenging period of your life, phase of your life. Which I hope many of you are trying to put practical, real, and impactful change towards. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck here and here. You're going to idolize this, but then you're also going to have to remember and relive the pain of that. Don't. They're telling you, I'm kind of telling you also, don't. But how do I do it? What do I do? What's the first step? You might not know. 7 of Cups. It might not be that easy. It might not be that feasible. You know, I mentioned therapy in many videos that I do for people here on YouTube, well, for the general here on YouTube and in private. But that's not always a feasible option for people, either through stigma or affordability or access, right? You know, you might live in an area where there's only one psychotherapist or even a holistic therapist, but they live 500 miles away. Now, in this day and age, and at this, I knew it would come. I knew it would come. Talking about the quarantine, I knew it would come. This is the perfect time to look at the options available to you for teletherapy work. Everybody's doing shit on Zoom and Skype and all that kind of stuff right now. You got fitness instructors doing shit on Zoom. You got people doing cooking classes on Zoom, church services going up on Skype, going up on whatever Google's equivalent to all of this is, right? Get creative. Get your detective's cap on and look at options to help you get through this trying time. Maybe you don't need therapy. Maybe you just need to take your mind off something. Or, I don't remember when I meant, I think it was there with the Nine of Wands. Get back to who you were before all of this. Did you used to have a hobby that you could possibly replicate or get reconnected with in this time of isolation and self-quarantine and social distancing, right? If you used to play the cello, but you put that bitch down for 6 years, pick it up. Pick it up. Start playing again. I don't usually mention the music playing in the back. Were you an opera singer? I'm sure many of us have seen that video of Italians out on their terraces, out on their balconies singing. There's one of a particular Italian singer. She was singing opera. Get out there. It might annoy your neighbors, but do it. Because I think some of you are in this headspace of, well, I don't know what to do, or there's no option for me, or you don't recognize the value of the options in front of you. 7s in tarot. Gosh, I think that's what it is. Please focus. There you go. 7s in tarot are about observation and scrutiny, analyzing, figuring out, crunching numbers, putting pieces of the puzzle together, figuring a way out. All these different ways things happen with the 7. And the implication behind all of that is growth, particularly spiritual growth with the 7s. It's difficult. It's not easy. Or sometimes it feels or looks counterproductive, or we're unsure. We're kind of taking a guess, right? But with the 7 of Cups, I feel as though there is something out there. I mean, look at these 7 cups. They all have different things in them. Got some fire, got some bubbles, got a dove, got a plant, got a rainbow, right? Got some stars, all this stuff, right? So something is out there. You just haven't found it yet, or you don't recognize it as valuable yet. That's the other thing about the 7s, is you might be spoiled for choice. You might have all this time on your hands and you're not used to it. And that's the other thing about this quarantine and social distancing. All this idle time brings out issues of the past. Not for everybody, but for some. Brings out issues of the past. and how we have not reconciled completely. Maybe some of you have never, here we go, not never. Some of you may have consciously buried the loss, the walking away of a certain person in your life. Flashback to mommy or daddy one day up and left the house, right? And I'm not trying to belittle or make light of that situation. It's a very impactful loss. It's a very impactful, experience for you or anybody else. But let's say after that period, you had some, but eventually as you grew into your own, you buried it. You thought, my mom, she just left. You go on dates. So tell me about your parents. Well, my dad's a great guy, da 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 da. I really love him, but my mom walked out on us when we were 15. And somebody says to you, most people's natural reaction is, "Wow, that's so crazy. I'm sorry. Oh my God, that must have really affected you." And you might be one of these people. Nah, I got over it. And you're sitting there on a first date or a second date, whatever it is, in your late 20s, early 30s, maybe even in your 40s. Now we get to April 2020, March 2020. Spirit says, here's a little pandemic, humanity. Everybody sit down and reflect on your life. And then boom, here comes all these old issues surrounding that time when your mom abandoned you at 15. You've been telling every man or every woman that you've dated, you're over it. You've been telling your friends you don't care. When relatives speak about your mom, you act as if it doesn't bother you. Now that you're home for 3, 4, 5 weeks at a time, you now come up to this. Oh shit, it really does affect me. It really does still bother me. What do I do? What do I do? How do I rectify this? How do I make myself feel better? How do I find a way out of this? How do I properly process this? These might be the questions you're asking yourself. Others of you, can I drink the problem away? You grab the chalice that has the bubbles in it. I said that earlier about wines with the wands, right? Maybe some of you. You know what? My answer is bottle of wine. I'm going to have a bottle of wine all by myself. You might be happily married. You might be, sitting at home and your husband or wife is looking at you. Is that your 4th glass of wine? Yes, it is. There's no reason that I can't have another glass of wine. We're home, aren't we? We've got nothing else to do, so I'm going to have another glass of wine. They might be like, what the hell is this? Why is Capricorn acting this way? Because of everything we talked about. Whether you're sharing that with them, Ace of Swords, you may or may not share your information. You may or may not share what is going on with you based on this emotional confusion that is brought up because of all of that stuff there. Just an example, by the way. I'm not calling anybody out. You make your own choices in your life. If you want to drink an entire bottle of wine 3 or 4 times a week because of quarantine and because of bad history, you may do so. I don't recommend it, but you may do so. Be careful. Your liver is probably not built for that. But anyway, so the 7 of Cups is looking at possible solutions and either not knowing which one is the best one, feeling that none of them are the best one, feeling overwhelmed that many of them could be good choices, but not knowing which one to choose, etc., etc., etc. Emotional confusion that you have to be savvy with, you have to be smart with. You might need to communicate your confusion about it to someone else, and they might help you in return. Hey, instead of drinking this bottle of wine tonight, maybe you want to help me look for a therapist. And your husband or your wife or your friend might turn to you and be like, what? Yeah, I think, this, you just might have to tell them, Capricorn, being in this quarantine has brought up all these issues regarding XYZ from my past or whatever the 5 of Cups is. You might have to tell them for the first time. In some cases, for the first time, you might have to tell this person what the 5 of Cups is about and how it's affecting you now in the present moment. And you may have to ask them for help. I told you that when we came into this reading. I have been channeling for someone on your team, on your side, either your spirit guides or someone in this life who is a compadre to you, a comrade, a friend, a supportive person. You got someone. They're around. 5 of Cups. The 2 of Cups is behind this guy. You have someone. Even if they're not in your freaking apartment or your house, get on the phone. Hey, Sally, it's me, Capricorn. I know you live 5,000 miles away from me, and I know the time difference is crazy, so it's probably 3 a.m. where you are, but could you help me? They will help you. Outcome. And if they don't help you, find someone else. Get on a support group. Plenty of those are happening right now. So many apps, so many, email blasts or, all these different campaigns, and people are, reaching out to keep us connected in this time of social distancing. The options are there. Don't act like they're not there. I'm channeling again. Somebody is very worked up to see you in a better state. Now, your outcome. Your outcome, Cap. 5 of Swords and the World. Look, friend. I don't know what, that 5 of Swords is really bothering me. It's the ending of that. Thank you. I was like, why? Because I feel defiance in the 5 of Swords. Did I say 5 of Wands? 5 of Swords. I feel someone being stubborn. I feel someone being hard-headed. I feel someone being immature. I feel someone who, again, I don't mind drinking this bottle of wine by myself. It's totally okay. And someone's like, is that really, it's the solution that I'm choosing right now. And this is the solution that works for me. So if you don't like it, you could go away. Okay, is that solving anything? Yeah, it's solving you being in my face. Why don't you go? It's like adversarial, this 5 of Swords. It's combative. It could be you, could be someone else. Take it as it resonates, right? But this 5 of Swords is, I want to win for the sake of winning, or I want to have a solution or have an outcome that benefits me, even though it hurts other people, or even if it's short-sighted. Again, drinking an entire bottle of wine, numbing the pain, or escapism in other ways besides drugs or alcohol. You could sleep a lot. You could watch a lot of movies. Again, if you're not doing productive work towards something, that is a form of escapism, right? But I feel as though that is a short-term victory for someone because, no secret, Capricorn, we talked about it extensively here today. What we're talking about here is painful. It's difficult. It's not pleasant. This isn't a walk in the fucking park. So because it's not, someone is like, well, I'm going to do this in order to make myself feel better in the now, in the present moment. So in between, or maybe you alternate between wallowing with the 5 of Cups and then, becoming a little feisty after you've had your, 5th glass of Chardonnay. And it's like, that's not helping. I'm really getting the sense, and this is just an example because we've talked about it a lot, this idea of having a bad relationship and then moving into possibly a new relationship that's better, but then still carrying the baggage and the residue and the issues from the previous relationship. And you're, unless you've processed that, that's natural. That's probably going to happen. And when you get in these moments where your past, essentially, I said that in the beginning, plagues and haunts you. Your past plagues and haunts you. And when it does, you act out with the 5 of Swords. So in your new relationship, in your new marriage, where you have a wonderful partner who's helping you and wanting to support you, you might bite their head off. Hey, babe, don't you think you've had enough? You didn't tell me when I've had enough. Don't talk to me. You don't know when I've had enough. Just trying to help you. 5 of Swords. And then the World next to it. World is about endings. World is about understanding lessons. This is you, secondary major for you, Capricorn, the World card, right? Also associated with the fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Could be dealing with any of those signs or none at all. But that's the ending. The World is the completion point of the major arcana in tarot, right? So we've learned lessons. This is you trying to avoid learning a lesson. This is you trying to avoid having to delve deep into your past and dissect and deconstruct all the barriers, all of the suppression that you've built up, all of the repression that you've built up over whatever happened back here, whatever it is, childhood, bad marriages, loss of money, boss of a business, whatever. You want to conquer it. You want to bat it away with short-sighted victory. That doesn't serve you. Five of Swords doesn't serve anybody. It's hollow. It doesn't have substance. It doesn't last. I told you fives are challenges, but they're short-lived. Or in the case of your Five of Wands, and you have 3 fives, 5, 5, 5. Go ahead and look that one up. That's a angel number or a divine, why can't I say it? Divine number for some of you. Look that up. Might be some interest for you there. But you try to go up against the world with a Five of Swords, you're not going to win. So you will learn this lesson. And I'm not threatening you. I don't know any of you. I don't know any Capricorns personally. I have no dog in your fight, but I'm telling you, you do this, this will happen regardless. The world will happen regardless. It is an unstoppable force, essentially. So in tandem, I think your energy to avoid, your energy to deflect, your energy to conquer, to, in some cases, not all of you, just a few of you think you can defeat your pain. Not with drinking or drugs or escapism. No, you steel yourself. You are stoic. You have made yourself strong. Like I said, you're sitting on dates or you're sitting and talking with new acquaintances who want to know about your family life, who want to know about previous business experiences that you have. You might be starting a new business with the World card. You might be reaching out, or between the 7 and the World, you might be going on the internet, looking for new investments, looking for new business partners, trying to field your ideas with new investors, right? And so then you get meetings over Zoom, over Skype or whatever. So tell us about, your history in this field. And you might try to play it off, the fact that you were in business with someone for a decade and they screwed you royally and that left you penniless. You want to make it seem like you have persevered. And to some degree you have. Capricorns are incredibly strong. You're incredibly resourceful and resilient. It is true. But the emotional aspect is not necessarily true. You may have built yourself back up. You may have gotten into new relationships. You may have started over with your business idea and you're succeeding in those ways. But emotionally, you feel betrayed. Emotionally, you feel left behind or stabbed in the back and abandoned and all this other type of shit. But you keep a stiff upper lip when you go into these interviews or you go on these dates or you have these conversations with friends and family. But that is not true. That is not the truth. Overall energy. Knight of Swords. Air sign energy. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Could be dealing with an air sign, but you don't have to be. Well, like I said at the top, this was in Sagittarius's reading as their overall, and there's a bit of a connection with, I think, what I was telling them in their overall energy. Things happen, things move quick, fast, and in a hurry regarding communication, regarding messages, regarding insight or revelations. I get the sense that you or someone else around you has, this epiphany, this wake-up call, might be relative to the Ace of Swords, and then wants to act on it quickly. And that's possibly good for you, Gemini. There might be this imperative, there might be this rush to get out there and get on top of this thing before it gets worse. If this reading, I don't want to, sit here and become an egotist, because that's not at all truly how in some ways I am. But in terms of tarot, I'm not really an egotist because I don't want to presume that this is the thing that's going to kickstart you down a certain path. It might be. I think I did joke about it. I said, we could be having the conversation. I could be the person that's giving you the tough love or giving you the insight or giving you the encouragement, because I do encourage you to take care of this, to not keep yourself tethered to things that make you unhappy, or memories or aspects of your life that keep you held back, keep you stunted, keep you stagnant. Nobody should do that. Capricorn, Gemini, Aquarius, nobody should do that. So that Knight of Swords could be the fuel to your fire to get you going. And it's smart. It's very intelligent. It's very mental. Or it's mentally inclined, I should say. There's an owl on this card, which is now so far away you can't see it. but there is an owl on this card. So that, well, maybe it's not an owl. Maybe it's a falcon. Oh no, I need glasses. It might be an owl, but regardless, I get the sense from the bird in the tree, whichever kind of bird it is, that there's a potential for you to have wise counsel. Or, like I've been saying, you're being watched over by someone on the other side, or just a close friend or confidant who cares about you and wants to see you in a better situation, in a better state of being, in a better state of mind, in a better emotional state, okay? Capricorn, that is your reading for April 2020. If you liked it, like button is down below. Hit that for me. If you want to leave a comment, let me know how this resonated in your life. I would love to read that. Feel free to share the video on your social media. Let other people know that you like watching my stuff. That'd be super, super cool. And more amazing than anything, if you guys want to show your support to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. That would be cool. The number, excuse me, pardon me, the number keeps going up. And I'm meeting more people, and I'm enjoying that. So if you want to join the crew, join the flock here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you want that personal reading, you can book through the information down below. Just email me, and we'll hook something up. And again, if you want to see me on Instagram doing oracle pulls, that is EmpathicFire Tarot on Instagram, okay? Capricorn, I will be back very soon or within a week or two doing your mid-April readings, and then after that we're going to do the May reading, so you have all that to look forward to. I may or may not be developing some new content soon, so again, if you're subscribed, you will be one of the first to ever see it, so make sure that you hit the subscribe button with the notification bell turned on, okay? All right, Capricorn, thank you so much for watching this video. I truly do appreciate it. Take care.